So you know what they say, if your father has worn any of these 10 fragrances, there's a very good chance you have siblings you've never met before. These are 10 masculine old school fragrances in my collection. They all deserve praise. I'm excited to share this list with you very soon, so make sure to stay tuned. Before I begin today's episode and I tell you about these 10 classic masculine fragrances, they're still around today for the most part. I think only one of them has been discontinued, but nevertheless, if you enjoy this type of content, if you love smelling your best, hit subscribe, hit the bell, and give this video a thumbs up for the algorithm. It would really mean a lot to me. So the first one I want to talk about is this classic gem, Paco Rabanne Pour Homme. Believe it or not, I wore this in high school. I had this in my collection for a very long time. This is an oak moss based fragrance. We also have Versace L'Homme, also this green earthy oak moss fir balsam type of a scent, but it has this lemony opening, which I really like. Definitely captures and captivates that vintage masculine aesthetic. This next one is not for the faint of heart. I know there are a lot of people that find this one to be repulsive in many ways. They find it to be rather animalic. By Yves Saint Laurent. It's called Kouros. This has a lot of civet, it has carnation, it has some aromatic properties to it as well. So I think this next one is discontinued, a bit of a bummer. So this is a pine needle type of a scent, Czar by Van Cleef & Arpels. Again, really wonderful, long-lasting. I remember purchasing it several years ago for dirt cheap. Unfortunately, now it's quite expensive online. This next one, when I purchased it, the liquid inside the bottle was actually purple and it's turned blue over time. Not sure what happened. This one is Sung by Alfred Sung. So this is another aromatic fragrance. Of course, it has those green elements in here, the patchouli, the pine needles, the fir balsam. This next one came out in the late 70s, believe it or not, I think 1979. My original bottle of it is at my other filming location, but I do have the newer version of it. Polo by Ralph Lauren. So this is polo green, obviously. There's also polo blue and red. And of course, we've had a lot of progress over the past few years trying to modernize the brand, so on and so forth. And it is still quite modern in many ways. Chanel Pour Monsieur Concentré. I love this stuff. That citrus elegance in the opening, the earthy undercurrent. This is a fantastic lemon-based fragrance, and it actually still has that modernity about it, right? So it doesn't fully submit to that vintage aesthetic. There's still that modern element about it, but another one that's kind of hard to come across. This next one has been upgraded in terms of its presentation, but I've gone through several bottles of this and I'm so glad to still have the old school presentation in my collection. This one by Guerlain is called Vetiver. Again, you know, you can see how brands like Roja Parfum came out with vetiver and it smells similar to this one. Also Grey Vetiver by Tom Ford. A lot of other brands have put out their interpretation of a vetiver-based fragrance, and you can tell that this is the one that erected the pillar. This is the one that kind of laid that foundation, that bedrock upon which all of these other brands have constituted their own iteration of the vetiver perfume. Of course, we have this next one, and this is a classic from the late 80s, and you know, I still wear this from time to time to remind myself of how it smells. By Christian Dior. This is Fahrenheit. And in the number one spot, oh boy, this is the fragrance that if your father wore this, you definitely have siblings you've never met, multiple siblings. And I hope you have the opportunity to meet them one day. Of course, I'm saying all of this in good fun, in jest. But this next one is a powerhouse. And yes, if you wore this decades ago and you were going to the disco and you were enjoying a night out on the town, I think a lot of you probably already know what it's going to be. It doesn't have that classic green, earthy, oak moss, vetiver, pine needle, patchouli DNA that these fragrances have. This is more of a cinnamon, vanilla, and sandalwood fragrance. Yop Homme. This stuff is nuclear, one of the longest lasting fragrances that you can get even today. And I have many of the other flankers and iterations, but this original is fantastic. Also gets compared to Original Santal by Creed. Thank you so much for watching. I hope you took something of value from today's episode. I hope you found it entertaining in the least. If you did, drop a comment. Let me know, Did you ever wear any of these, or did you know a guy or anyone who has worn any of these 10 fragrances? Also, if you love smelling your best, hit subscribe, hit the bell, and give this video a thumbs up. Thanks again for watching. I love you all. We'll see you tomorrow with a new episode. Bye.